This is the stuff dreams are made of. I'm writer-collector Ryan Condal.
And I'm writer-collector Dave Mandel. Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Hey, Dave. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Another late Sunday night for me as we get together. Me with my whiskey, you with your coffee.
Beautiful morning here with my coffee. Actually got some sleep for the first time in a week. I'm just back from my whirlwind DC and New York City, White House Plumber premieres, which were very fun and very nerve-wracking. It was literally the first time I've been indoors without a mask with 4 million people in a very long time, with people leaning in very close to me to tell me that, well, the interesting thing about Watergate was, as they breathe like up into my nose. So that was, I've been testing basically day and night. So far, no, all good. But so anyway, very funny. But it does lead me incredibly directly into a what's new in props, among other things. I got a couple of what's new in props, but it leads me directly. I got to go to DC, and I was interviewed for something, and they kind of wanted to do it. I won't say what, just because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. But they were like, "Let's just go somewhere. Let's do it on foot." So we decided to go to the Smithsonian, to the American History Museum, to go see the Watergate cabinet from Dr. Fielding's office. That's Daniel Ellsberg, psychiatrist. It's sort of the inciting break-in that leads to Watergate, and they have this cabinet there, and we went and we saw it, and unfortunately they're rearranging the display, so we're kind of like peeking over like a sign, but it's there. It's pretty cool, and I love all that American history stuff. But we got through it, relatively quickly. Got to see the new they have Jill Biden's inauguration like outfits and dresses and stuff, and matching masks. She literally, on her COVID mask, they stitched on, or I guess put on top of it, like flowers that matched like the flowers on one of her evening dresses. I have no idea if that's COVID safe to stitch into a mask, but it was really beautiful and very much like, wow, this is in a museum. Like this is we're always going to remember, the inauguration with masks. Anyway, I thought it was fascinating to see. But here we go, tie into props. So when I was there last September, they were putting the finishing touches on their big new American culture exhibit. And you remember I got to go backstage with Ryan Lintelman, and I got to see all this cool stuff and rub it into you that you didn't get to see it and all of those things.
Oh, yeah. You love going to archives, Dave.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
It's your
guess what?
Skill.
My second favorite thing, they have now opened the exhibit, and I got to go to the exhibit without you and see the exhibit, and it's absolutely fantastic. They did a really incredible job. It's big, it's huge, couple of rooms. Just everything really well laid out. All of the really great stuff that I remember seeing with him, backstage, if you will, seemed to be on display. Like I wasn't like aware of things where I'm like, wait, where's that? So, you walk right in, there's the ruby slippers. You walk in, there's R2-D2 and C-3PO. The original Kermit the Frog made out of Jim Henson's mother's coat, and the arm sleeve is a pair of his jeans or dungarees. Does anyone say dungarees anymore, by the way?
I don't think
Is that a word? Do you know the word dungarees? Let me try.
I do, yes.
You do. So you still, but you don't say it. Okay.
I've drawn a line. I don't say it.
That's your line in the sand. No more dungarees. So pretty incredible, just in terms of the the single off images, or images, the objects, the signposts from MASH, Archie and Edith's chairs from All in the Family, but then these massive displays sort of chronologically of culture. I mean, I keep wanting to call it pop culture, but they're calling it American culture. And just fantastic, where you kind of get to see all of a sudden, I don't know, it'll be, props, props and costumes mixed with things people wore and sports stuff and whatever. And it really gives you a sense of, and the way the timelines are different. It's not like each one is 10 years, but it just gives you a sense of periods of American history from this sort of cultural lens. And it was really fantastic, just really wonderful. We were there early in the morning, and it was the most busy part of the museum. So people are going to that museum and going right in. I took some pictures, which I'll put up. I mean, just a great display that had, of course, like Mr. Rogers, sweater and an actual Oscar the Grouch. I mean, I was just like, this is,
that's great.
Yeah, this is fantastic. But really
with trash
well
can?
done. With trash can. Hell of a display. And gorgeous new hardcover book, which the people at the Smithsonian were kind enough to give me complimentary. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but they did, which was really nice. The book is fantastic. It gets to show off the highlights of the collection as well. So if you can't get there, Ryan, you might want to just pick up a book. Pay for it, though. Pay for the book and look at the book.
That's right. Yeah, really, I don't even get the free book.
No, and actually you got to pay tax, too. You got to pay a lot of tax.
Yeah, but, UK
I'll explain, yeah.
Import. Yeah,
exactly. It's worth it, though. Anyway, really well done. And I will say the chronology, like I said, the sort of the big cabinets of chronology, there's a little bit of that for my taste, hopefully friendly criticism, ever so slightly missing at the Academy Museum, which is a little more sections of things that have chronology, but a little less of a, I don't know, maybe an overview. And this one I thought had a really nice
flow, structure,
flow, but view from the sky a little bit, like big picture. I don't know if that makes sense. Big picture, yeah, like a uniting idea, a central theme. Yes, I think there was sort of a central Americana theme that kind of came through, and a sense of A led to B led to C. I'll tell you one thing they have, which is sort of prop related but fantastic. They've got one of the prints. I don't know what he called them. The yellow curvy guitars. Like those really gorgeous looking guitars that are very one of a kind, I guess, unless you're Prince, in which case you have like 20 of them, but you know what I mean? Very, very cool and beautiful. And they've got it obviously, behind glass in a display, but what they've done is they've put a replica of it right in front of the display. I mean, not right in front of, but right next to the display, so that you can look at it. And then if you want to, you can actually, stand and like play it and kind of take a picture, but also get a sense of like what it feels like in your hands, which things like that, cool. That I love that sort of, I don't know, it's not like they didn't reinvent the wheel, but they did just a really nice job. So I when in DC, check it out. Yeah, that's great. I mean, one day I will get down there to hope to see it. But I think in the grand scheme of places you've not been, I think since anyone in America, any citizen is allowed in there, basically, anyone foreign visitor, even if you become a UK citizen, you are welcome there. Yeah, as opposed to the Lucas Archive. Right. Yes. Right, which I'm actively banned from. Not welcome. Yeah, not welcome. Yeah, sorry, not welcome. Yeah. I missed you, Ryan. Hi, Dave. Just strolling around, visiting archives without me. Well, it was a busy week. What can I tell you? Very good. It's funny. We were talking about we're on the T-shirt. We've heard the feedback. Yeah. Yes, we're doing T-shirts. They're happening, and I think we're going to do our logo in the front. And then we're talking about doing like one of our kind of famous pull quotes in the back. And wait and see, because we do have a bunch of funny ideas and things that you'll have heard from the podcast. But I think one of the ones that came up in our discussion back and forth was I've been to the Lucasfilm archives. I just imagine a bunch of people walking around at Comic-Con with stuff dreams. I've been to them. And I want to give a shout out. And then I can't wear that shirt. Yeah. Right. You'd never be allowed to. We'll make a special one, then nothing on the back. I want to give a big shout out to all the fans who seem to want the Ryan 10 code on the back of it, which I am the first to laugh at. So kudos to all you assholes out there. Yeah. Well done. But made me laugh. So yeah. This is very interesting, sort of in an additional what's new in props, which is, as we are recording this, it is Sunday, April 23rd, and day 2 of the Julien's auction is going on. Our show where we went through the catalog ended up airing this last week, so right before the episode. Recording. But now many episodes will have aired before this one that we're recording plays. I got shut out yesterday on the Liquid Schwartz, Liquid Force. That would be something. Well, stay tuned. Oh yeah, but you would have gone higher on that, Dave. Yes, exactly. Especially if it was from one of the prequels or the. It's not in the sequels. Movie. Yeah. Liquid. I'm gonna get Liquid Force. No, so Liquid Schwartz went crazy. At least from as far as I was concerned, it sold for 7,000 plus vig, which, I mean, that seemed like a lot. Yeah. Very healthy number, very robust number. So I got shut out yesterday, but it's going on right now, and I guess it doesn't really hurt. You've got a bid in with Jason, right? You've got a bid in already, right?
Two bids.
Bidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell the folks.
Yeah. So I decided to chase those Men in Black suits. I just love them, and so it's because the auction's LA based, and the suits come up at the very kind of tail end of the auction. Actually, it's in the last third, because it's such a huge auction. But it's the tail end of the second day, and I call time is crazy, and if I can't stay up for it. So I just did the go with God sort of. I gave him my max bid on each suit, and he's going to act as my proxy bidder on the floor, and then we'll just text me and let me know how it went. So be interesting. I was kind of actually wondering for a minute whether we could time the recording of this so that I could actually take the call during the podcast, but it just didn't line up. It looked like it was going to be too late. They've actually had a lot of action, so it's in a good way for Julien's. It's slowing the auction down because there's a lot. It
was very slow yesterday. People going crazy. The only thing that I noticed early on was the shot of Harpo Marx with his dick out went for a lot of money.
Did it?
I don't think the second one, where you don't see as much penis, went as high, but I think that first one went for a couple of grand. So
amazing.
Well done, somebody.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you. I got one thing at least, finally. Not the underbidder.
Yeah, I actually, just as we logged on to the podcast, I pulled up. It's running silently in the background. Might do live updates from time to time on this. But
what a number are they up to?
Can you see? We're right now on lot 842. It's a Batman and Robin, Mr. Freeze, Snowy Ice Cream Pail.
Okay.
But just as I logged in, that Superman clapper went.
What did that go for?
Which remember, it's a Superman the movie 1978 clapper, no doubt a cool piece, but a model unit, not a Richard Donner clapper.
I thought it was fascinating. I stared at it and I almost bid, and I ultimately decided I didn't want a model one. I wanted, a Superman one. So
would you have been in at $35,000?
I would not. I believe I would have been long out at that point.
Well,
so
that's what it did.
Well. Yeah.
So
wow.
Pretty incredible. Yeah,
fantastic.
Pretty incredible.
Keep an eye. Here's my question. I circled 918, which are the Scout Trooper gloves from Jedi.
Cool.
And then I was sort of going back and forth on
We got to get you a Scout Trooper helmet, Dave.
I know. That's I know. I was sort of buying it in sort of a wishful thinking kind of way, but
yeah.
not a.
I mean, I really would want one of those, but and this actually maybe segues in nicely just by random happenstance, but that segues nicely into the topic that we were going to talk about. But I really desperately want one of those. I mean, that
would have been a good segue. For a minute, of course, I'm like, wait, what's our topic this week? And then I was like, that is good. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
We can segue right in. I mean,
the only thing I was going to say is I was staring at that. And I was also staring at a couple of the Ron Cobbs. Did you end up deciding not to on the Ron Cobbs?
Yeah.
This will be a good segue. Okay, either way.
Yeah. I didn't go after any of them because I'm sort of in this no man's land because it's this weird thing where we're coming right up on auction season essentially, and we know things are coming and we just don't know enough right now. Right. So to do your right. What's most important to me. So I'm really being very kind of strict about what I'm going to go after. Whereas I think if this was the final auction, if this was happening in September, I might have gone a little bit more crazy for the Cobb stuff. But because it's at the very beginning and I don't know what's coming, particularly from Propstore, it's hard to just kind of overcommit to those things. But those are in the 900s, so those are actually yet to come. So
I think they're gonna go crazier. I think so. I marked two of those, and like I said, I marked the gloves. And I was sort of thinking of maybe just texting. Is that how you were talking to DeBoard? Were you texting Jason?
Yeah, I was just texting him.
Text me let me make sure I have his number. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to text him, and I'm going to, as we're talking,
put his personal cell phone number on the podcast so everybody can text him with their bids and questions.
No, exactly. I'm saying we're recording the podcast right now. Can you help me bid on 918 and 960 and 961. This is kind of interesting. Maybe sometime we should do a whole show where we're like literally bidding, like literally live. You can call me at... I won't put you on the air. This is what people want to hear, a guy typing on a podcast, right? Does it make it sound like it's a true crime podcast? Like, we had to figure out the DNA.
Yeah. This is just great radio, Dave.
Yeah, no, this is really good. It's really okay. Yeah. So I just texted him. Let's see if he actually responds. So, all right, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be bidding. That'll be kind of fun and interesting. I'll keep you posted. We were just talking about, so this, I'm going to get us back to our segue, because we were just talking about things that, like, for example, I am very much looking for a biker scout helmet. And it's certainly something, he said yes, so he's going to call me. That's fantastic. So it's certainly something that you're interested in as well, right? I mean, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. Jedi, just to be really important, was for you your first Star Wars Correct. In the theater, which is obviously a tale we've told. And I know this about you. I don't know anything else about you. I don't know your children's names, your wife's name, but I know Jedi was your first movie. Unless it's one of your children named Jedi. Am I close? Am I at all?
Ewok, actually.
Oh, well, lovely. Okay, that's beautiful. Beautiful name.
No, it's actually funny. So Jedi's coming back to the theaters.
Yes, 40th anniversary.
Yeah. So and it's the special edition, but whatever. And I told the girls today, because it's showing up at the theater up the street. Oh, cool. And I was like, hey, do you guys want to go see Return of the Jedi in the movie theater? And like my little one, I knew my eldest would be into it, because it's just sort of like movies. Yes, right. Let's go. My little one was like jumping up and down and clapping. It was delightful. It was delightful.
Have they seen any of them in the theater? I don't actually know the answer to this.
No. They've seen the entire original trilogy all at home, yes, but nothing in the theater. So I think this will actually be like really fun, because I think there's something about, especially for their age, like the theatrical experience really sucks them into it, because it's that sort of dark room, all immersive, the surround sound. They really get in a way that they don't get at home on the TV screen. So I think I'm going to do that with them next weekend, and I will report back.
It's coming here to theaters, and actually on May the 4th, our least favorite holiday.
Your favorite day.
Year. Yes, exactly. But I am doing this, even though I hate the fact that I'm going to have to hear idiots say May the 4th. I'm going anyway. Actually, the Academy is doing a screening in their big theater of Jedi of the 40th. Yeah, so I'm going to go there for that, and
also wasn't invited to that.
Taking the fam. That's an anyone. That's an anyone. So technically, you're allowed to fly.
If I was local, yes.
Yeah, if you're local. But I am looking forward to that, which will be kind of fun. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on this show, and I don't know. This is a very strange sort of deviation, but who cares? You know that I basically, as crazy, waited till my daughter was 7 years old, which is how old I was when I saw it. And I own a print of Star Wars. I have a print of Star Wars, and I have a print of Jedi, and Brandon Allinger has a print of Empire. And we ended up doing screenings here in LA back when my daughter was 7, where we kind of separated them out a month, took over like a small theater, and invited like people with kids to see it like for the first time in theaters.
I came to
you came, yes, but you didn't.
I came to your first Star Wars screening.
But I don't even think you had kids yet, right? That's even pre.
If I did, she was a baby.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was a baby. Yeah. That's right. And we did that, and my daughter was 7 and my son was 5. Because I had to. That's how they had to do it, and it made a mark on them. I mean, it's my proudest bit of parenting, if I may say. I've been useless otherwise, but it was pretty great. So obviously, two people who are at each other's screenings
when you took them to the
Star Wars.
Lucasfilm archives.
Yes, and I took them right to the archives and let them run amok. But as two people who can make fun of each other and their lack of archiveness, obviously we are friends. And we were just talking about the Jedi biker helmet and how we both want it. and what I think Ryan, his segue that he was going to say, and here, you know what, Ryan, you go ahead, you do your segue, explain what you were about to say.
Well, yeah, we had to record without a guest tonight because Bart, who's our super editor / producer who manages all of our guest stuff and tech checking and all of them, was at. He has a life. I mean, believe it or not,
which is I don't understand why we let him do that, but okay,
he lay it down, but he keeps having things to do on these fine Sunday afternoons when we want to get together and talk nerd stuff. So we wanted to record because we wanted to kind of keep our momentum going. So we had to find a topic to talk about with each other. And we were kind of going back and forth on things. And it was actually you, Dave, that pitched this. But I thought the Biker Scout gloves were a great segue. But the idea is friends and competitors. And how do we do this podcast? Obviously, we're good friends. We've been collectors, co-collectors now for 15 years because that's how long I've been in the game. And people do ask us all the time, whether collectors or not, people that know us as know us socially or know us from other interests like comic art or whatever, and then just people that listen to the podcast wonder, how do we're both into the same things. How do you guys sort it out when something comes up that you both want? And I think Biker Scout helmet, even though it's theoretical, this would be a great sort of way into walking through the process and talking about how that would work. But because that is definitely something where our Venn diagram, overlaps.
Right. And it comes up, it comes up all the time. It may not come up with something as spiky as like, oh my God, of course Dave wants that, or of course Ryan wants that. But it comes up all the time. And dare I say, I could sit here and make the argument that the last 3 or 4 things that you picked up for your collection, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but the last 3 or 4 things that you picked up for your collection are things that in a vacuum where you don't exist, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh my God, I would have won them. But I certainly could say I probably would have tried to throw a bid and who knows, maybe. But obviously, once I know you're interested, hands off. It works because ultimately at the end of the day, let's just start at the very, very beginning. And I think maybe this is the part that a lot of people don't understand. So really, I'll make it as crystal clear as humanly possible. And if you don't understand it, you have a prop problem, which is at the end of the day, it's about the friendship. It's not about the props. So when it's gone wrong with other human beings, and by the way, it has gone wrong with other human beings, and I've had that happen. Less in the prop world, but certainly in the world of comic art, where I've had people that I thought were friends sort of lose their mind over the competition. And it's always been a very funny thing where, dare I say, had they asked me to step aside, I happily would have. However, they assumed the worst of me and then acted the way they assumed I was going to act. That's these, things where they knew I was bidding on something and then, tried to snake it from me and bid me up. And you just go, I'm at a loss. I thought we were friends. And look, maybe that's me being naive, but at the end of the day, it's about the friendship. And obviously I know there are things Ryan likes. He knows there's things I like. And look at it has to be about the friendship. So, that's the starting point for me. It's got to be about the friendship. And, Kelvin, who's been on the show, comic art, whatever. Same thing, he and I, don't collect a lot of the same things, do collect some of the same things. But there are things obviously he's helped me get. There are things I've helped him get. And that help, by the way, has even back in the day, and again, I'm talking, 20 odd years ago, sometimes it even meant like occasionally like, hey, yeah, I can spot you a few bucks if you need to go big on something and things like that. And this is not me bragging. I just think it's got to be about the friendship. I don't know. That's my big picture issue because competition is competition, obviously. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually, because I don't know. I've never asked you guys this question.
Yeah.
Just because comic art I feel like it's so much more active and you've been in it so much longer. Have you and Kelvin ever found yourselves in a place where you both wanted the same thing?
It's so funny. Kelvin and I actually met. That's our meet cute for the movie. Our meet cute.
Very good.
Instead of pajama tops and pajama bottoms in the department store, and we fall in love, we met fighting over 2 John Byrne X-Men pages where, gosh, it's a long time ago, and maybe this is a funny plug for a future show. I think there were these pages that may have once belonged to comic creator, comic artist, writer Rob Liefeld, who is going to be a guest on our show, by the way. He's coming up as a guest. I've known Rob for a lot of years at this point. I didn't know him at the time. He is the creator or co-creator of Deadpool, among other things, and obviously a whole bunch of other stuff, and starred in a Levi's commercial and all those things back in the day. I think at some point or another, there were these Byrne X-Men pages that he was selling, or someone was selling on his behalf. And the guy who was selling them on his behalf, I think, was a little bit offering them around to too many people. And I was getting them, and I think Kelvin thought he was getting them. And Kelvin called me up out of the blue to sort of vaguely threaten me. And I just yelled right back at him, just like, I don't know who you think you are, but, the pages were offered to me and I'm buying these pages. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. And we sort of, argued on the phone and hung up. And then we had
Did you yell Excelsior at him right before you hung up the phone?
I think I waited and yelled it after I hung up. Unfortunately, he didn't get to hear.
You thought of it and then called him back and yelled at him.
Hey, it's me again, Excelsior. And then, of course, as it turned out, we had another friend in common, a former comic art dealer named Tom Horvitz, who at the time Kelvin was helping with his website. And Tom was like, you really, I know you're mad at him and he's mad at you, but I think it was like, you guys got to come to dinner and just, I don't know. I think it was like, put it behind you. And so we kind of either met at a show and then had dinner or something like that. And of course, the second we met, it was like, friends for life. You know what I mean? Hashtag ride or die or whatever the hell the kids say.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. Did we just become best friends? Yeah, exactly. We built our bunk beds. But it was very funny. We met fighting over these pieces. That's and again, great. I actually still have the pages to this day, but had we known each other, I mean, I would have gladly stepped aside. They're good pages, but they were not for me from like my dream issue. And that's really, I think a lot of it starts with honesty. So, when it comes to, let's go back to this mythical biker scout helmet. I mean, for me, and I know you, obviously Jedi is important to you. And obviously, for me, the helmet thing and Star Wars in general. And obviously I have a Stormtrooper helmet from the first movie. I have a Stormtrooper helmet from Jedi, but I also have a, snowtrooper from Empire. Yeah. And so the missing, and I have a TIE fighter as well. And the missing piece the missing Imperial helmet, if you will, for me, is the biker scout. It is very much a real quest to get that, which, and I again, I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you feel like you'd step aside, right?
Yeah. Right? I mean, I think
right.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, not begrudgingly, but I think it would be hard. I found actually with you, as these things have come up, I think it's actually been fairly easy with us because we know each other well enough at this point that we know the appetite and where it fits into our individual collection. And even though that would be like a huge piece for me and literally against anybody else on this earth, I would just be like, no, sorry, I'm into it too. Let's, I'll see you on the auction floor.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I totally would, just because I know how important that piece would be to you and not just your Star Wars collection, but your Star Wars helmet and mask collection. It's just the heads of Star Wars is such a feature of what you do. And it would be hard for me in good conscience to go after that and enjoy the piece, knowing that it would, be this weird kind of moment in between the two. I think also, first of all, I think you would blow me out of the water. So not only would you own the piece in the end, but you'd also be pissed off at me. So I'd have
lost. Cost me that extra? But by the way, sometimes you don't know. And I think one of the things that's great about, obviously, if you can have a friend in the hobby and actually, work with them and be friends is, look, you can be honest about the money situation too. I mean, I think I've been in many situations where I've stepped aside for a friend knowing that they, I think we may have mentioned this once before where, they're going to bid, but they're going to bid to, I'm making up numbers. They're going to bid to $20,000. And when it gets to 20, if it keeps going, then I'll bid. But I'm certainly, if they can get it in that earlier period, I'm game, or vice versa. I'll carry it to X and then someone else can step in. And again, I think if you are truly friends and you can have those honest kinds of discussions, you can also work things out like that. Because obviously the worst thing in the world, and I've had this happen, is someone asks you to step aside. And again, not a stranger, but somebody that you're friendly with, and you ask them to step, they ask you to step aside, and then it goes higher than they would have, and they don't win it, and the sort of you're left standing like going, well, I would have kept bidding. I would have, if you told me you were only going to $10,000, I'd have bid 12 and up. And I don't know, that in some ways that drives me almost crazier, dare I say, stepping aside. And again, it gets back to friendship. I'm not saying these people aren't real friends. I'm just simply saying, if you can't sort of fully disclose your plans to the person you're talking to, but then perhaps by definition, they're not your actual great friend. Do you know what I mean? I mean, wherever that fits in.
Yeah. I mean, I think and then it's important to know, because I think there are people that we're friendly with, and there were people that we're actually friends with. And I think there is a bit of a dividing line when it comes to the auction world. And it's interesting. I was just thinking, you were talking about some things that I had gotten previously, although none of those things I think are Star Wars things, to be very specific.
None of them are Star Wars, but I can sit here and I can tell you flat out, I still feel like I'd like to have a Terminator piece. I just would. I'm not saying either specifically of those things. And look, let me be really clear. I've had ample opportunity in the course of my collecting. They've come and they've gone, and they've come and they've gone, and they've come and they've gone. So it's not specifically like, oh my God, I'm never going to see it again, or I'm upset or whatever. But I think in one of those auctions, there was less for me, I guess, in the grand scheme of life. And so it might have been a time, but it wasn't, I didn't even, it doesn't enter my mind. The one that I will tell you honestly, and I think I told you at the time, incredibly jealous, and I can see them over your right shoulder, of Statler and Waldorf. I'd have made a run. I mean, I can flat out tell you, I'd have made a run if you didn't say, was that where you lost something? You lost the Blade Runner early on, then you decided to go for
pulse
that,
rifle,
right? A pulse rifle.
The match stunt pulse rifle. Yeah. And if I had won that, then I would have bailed.
And I was basically waiting. And if you had gotten the pulse, I would have gone for it. But when you didn't, and you said, I'm going here, I don't even think I said, oh, let me know. I knew you were going to get them, all good, but I don't know what else to say. I would have loved them. They're really cool. You don't see original Muppet pieces like that. They just don't exist. Yeah. And when they have existed, the once in a blue moon, they've never been quite so significant in terms of, I guess, Muppets I like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's some stuff that have shown up, and there's some Fraggles and things that have shown up, but I'm not a Fraggle guy. Is that good for the back of the t-shirt? Not a Fraggle guy?
That's very good. I like that one.
But no, I mean, but I can also be incredibly jealous. And this is, I think, something about, again, friends in the hobby. I want to have a friend who I love his stuff in his collection, and I am a little jealous of it, and I hope his widow sells it to me, because I plan on outliving you, Ryan. Yeah.
You likely will, Dave.
I'm hoping House of the Dragon kills you. Just burns you out.
Well, it's on its way. So
that's my plan.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. I'm very friendly with a lot of the wives, just sort of planning my end game. That's all my friends. I'm very friendly with the wives. That's my move. Yeah.
It's like,
I'm going to be oh, Dave, what do I do with all of Ryan's stuff? Let me help you. Now that he's gone, I'll help you. Yeah.
It's like Killers of the Flower Moon, but with props.
Yeah.
Just going to start marrying
with the wives.
Everybody.
That's all I'm saying. Very friendly with the wives. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Very good.
But no, and again, it's like, I want to look at your collection and be a little jealous in a great way. I mean, I mean, that's sort of the fun of it, but in a way that doesn't, I don't know, make me hate you. And the couple of times again, in the comic art world where I was friendly with guys that maybe perhaps did not have, quite the collection I had at the time. And it's almost as if my very collection drove them crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain it other than that way. It just seemed like they turned on me, and I got to hear back later on, like, well, why did you do that? Why would you have treated Dave like that? And it just was told, like, it's just not fair. He has so much stuff. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's therapists for that, but, it is what it is.
And I would say samesies, like totally. I mean, I love your collection. I mean, I adore your collection. And I mean, there are things in there that, like, I think you not forget that you have, but you don't talk about a lot, or that I even forget at times that you have. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's got an indie jacket. Like, that's insane. We don't even talk about that. But I think that's great. And I love visiting that stuff, even though I haven't, seen your apartment in 5 years.
Right. Me neither. Can I tell you a funny story? So I was in a car in DC with a woman who is, I think, both Justin Theroux and Woody Harrelson's publicist, but is also Harrison Ford's publicist. And I took the opportunity, and we have she and I had a mutual friend in common from Saturday Night Live, so it wasn't a complete stranger. So I took the opportunity
when you were shaking her down, you remind her of that. You're not a complete stranger.
Like, no, it's okay. This is cool. No, but I took the opportunity to show her my indie jacket because I had it on my phone. I was just like, nice. Maybe, yeah. She laughed, so she thought it was very nice. Like, this is gonna be very nerdy. I warn you, but I had to show it. So yeah,
I have a lot of those conversations.
Harrison Ford's publicist knows that I have an indie jacket. It doesn't get better than that. Yeah.
Propstore has just announced its 2023 Los Angeles Entertainment Memorabilia Live Auction, which will take place live from the Peterson Museum on June 28th to the 30th. As always, bids can be placed online via telephone or by written absentee bids. Additionally, the general public is invited to attend the first day of the auction in person on Wednesday, June 28th at the Peterson in order to bid. Top items for the auction include. I was gonna intro you. So So top items for the auction include Dave.
Wait, do that one more time.
Top items for the auction include Dave.
Princess Leia's Carrie Fisher ceremonial dress costume from Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, 1977. Estimate $1 million to $2 million. Whoa! Wow. Hero Batpod vehicle from Dark Knight Rises 2012. Estimate $1 million to $2 million. Ryan, what do we have for people that don't want to spend $1 million? Tell us about something else. Yeah.
We have a screen matched evil clown doll from Poltergeist 1982 for $200,000 to $400,000.
I bid $1 million.
Yes. Go. Peter Quill's light up Star-Lord helmet from Guardians of the Galaxy from the original Guardians, the 2014 one, which is $125,000 to $250,000 estimate.
$2 million.
And the spider head thing. Oh, that's cool. The spider head thing from The Thing, estimated $100,000 to $200,000. That thing has always haunted my dreams since I saw that film, and now you can.
That is a scary movie. That is kind of cool. And
what else, Dave?
Rose DeWitt Bukater, Kate Winslet sinking coat from Titanic 1997, estimate $100,000 to $200,000. I do love the idea that women used to go to a store and be like, I need a sinking coat for my cruise ship in case we go down. That it's like dinner jacket, sinking coat. I realize that's not what it really was, but loungewear. Yeah. Just in case we sink, I need a really nice sinking coat.
I think Frank Costanza had one of those in his Cabana clothes that got all the moth.
A sinking coat. Yep.
He did. He loved that coat.
Oh my Lord. The full catalog has over 1,400 lots. Wow.
I'm exhausted already.
I love props, but my God, that just seems a lot, doesn't it?
Live on Propstore.com beginning May 31st. For those that want to see the items live, you can schedule a private viewing at Propstore's Valencia, California facility through June 20th. And Propstore will be having an official preview event from 5 to 10 p.m. on Saturday, June 24th at the Peterson in their indoor-outdoor fourth floor penthouse suite. The event will be a lot of fun and is sure to fill up quickly. You can also schedule a one-to-one Zoom preview remotely if you can't make it to Los Angeles in person. So just email support@propstore.com or call Propstore Los Angeles at 818-727-7829 for more information.
Just to give you an idea what 1,400 lots of props are like, if you contacted Propstore to see like if you wanted to see every prop in the auction, you would have to look at 100 props a day with them for 14 days to see all 1,400 props. That's a lot of props, but they will do it. You can call them up right now and start Zooming with them and just say, I want to see 100 props a day, all 1,400. I mean, honestly, I dare you to actually take them at their word.
Chuck is waiting by the phone.
Yeah,
he can't
take them at their word. They want to schedule a private viewing of all 1,400 props. I think that would be very funny. Someone should do that, please. So do that.
And if you can't wait to buy something for your collection, you can always purchase something to tide you over on Propstore's buy now platform at propstore.com using your Dave10 or Ryan10 discount code to get to 10% off your entire purchase. The printed catalog for this auction can now also be purchased on the buy now platform. And yes, Dave, the discount code will apply to the catalog.
Finally, because it says that in the ad copy. Because I believe the $10 catalog fee or whatever it costs is basically what my Dave 10 big purchasers, the Dave 10 big swinging dick purchasers, that's sort of their upper limit, kind of.
You're going to sell so many catalogs, Dave. So get ready for Los Angeles' biggest prop collecting auction event. Go to propstore.com to register now, and you'll be signed up to get early access to a PDF version of the catalog before it comes out live online on May 31st.
And once you get that catalog, we're going to have a special episode going through that catalog. So you'll be able to take your special download and go through the catalog with Dave and Ryan here at The Stuff Dreams Are Made Of. We're talking about friendship, but it can also be, there can also be, I don't know, I'll simply say like a bit of a respect thing too. Let me go that way as well, which is, like somebody who we've had on the show, and I hope he doesn't mind me sort of calling him out, because I'm going to call him out in a great way. Gus Lopez. And Gus is a great guy, and I really like Gus. And Gus and I talk, and we talk offline from time to time. But I don't think either of us, I mean, I hope this does not make him cry in any way, shape, or form. We are not each other's best friend. I don't mean that in a bad way. We got to know each other later in life. We've never lived in the same city, but we definitely, I respect the fuck out of that guy. I love his collection. He's a good guy. I don't know how else to say that.
Honest,
so
super knowledgeable, like all the things, all the boxes you want to tick.
Very, shares his stuff in a wonderful way. I mean, I feel like the first time, like I got to go to his place, it was really like, kind of calling him up and just kind of going, hey, I'm going to be in Seattle. Is it cool if I can? And basically invited myself over to his house, and he was good with it. I mean, I don't know how else to say that, but we are not
yet another archive I've not been to.
Another archive that you do really need to see. I believe he, I don't know what he still calls it. He was calling it the Boba Cabana for a while, I think is what he was calling it. So yeah, very, very enjoyable. And it's an incredible collection. But he and I don't speak weekly on the phone. I guess I'm trying to express where we are on friendship and whatnot in a good way. But where I'm really going with it is, things will come up and we will reach out to each other and try and kind of go, and especially sometimes when there's big multiple lots where, hey, there's a whole bunch of Star Wars artwork. Do you like this one? I like this one. Are you okay letting this one go? And I'll go for that one, and that kind of stuff. And it's a wonderful, great thing. And it comes out of just, I think, mutual respect. I mean, I'm sure the auction houses would argue that it's some sort of, market manipulation kind of a thing, where we're basically trying to keep the prices down. And by the way, we are, let me be really clear about that. We're trying not to randomly bid against each other for no reason. And with the hope that, some of the stuff goes a little more reasonably. We've also shared lots. We've bought things together and then, that had multiple pieces in them and then split them up. Brandon Allinger and I and Gus, we may have mentioned this on the show when Gus was on. We once purchased this like huge lot of crew guys' photos from the making of Jedi. And it was like Polaroids and just, like old, old, like Instamatic shots kind of a thing. And just split them up. And because it just had really interesting shots of locations and scenery and whatnot. And this may be one of those things where, other than the three of us, nobody on Earth would have cared. You know what I mean? Like in a very funny way. So we bought them all together, didn't bid against each other, and then just kind of split them up. And, very happy with what I ended up with. I will say, Gus picked so slow. Like Brandon and I would just be like, I don't know that one. Gus would be like, But that always made me laugh. But again, it comes out of that level of, I don't know, respect. And I think that's sort of that's something that can be said too, where it doesn't always have to be, bestest we talk before bed every night, but it's something I've loved about the hobby. What I don't love, again, I'm already called out the sort of don't bid, okay, I stepped aside and then it sells. I'm also not a huge fan of don't bid, I step aside and then they sell it a year later. You know what I mean? Or want to sell it to me for more than they paid, where I don't understand. I stepped aside. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, I was doing you a favor for the dream prop that you are now trying to sell me. That's not a favorite. And obviously, look, we get into the world of, secrets and whatnot. In comic art, I'll tell you, years ago, I think it was the Crisis on Infinite Earths covers. I think we've talked about various versions of this. That series of DC Comics, there were 12 issues and they were all getting split up. And I don't know, there was some whole weird thing where, again, guys kept me out of it because they were worried I would try and snake the deal. So basically, you snaked the deal because you were worried I would snake the deal. And you just kind of go, oh, I see how it is. I don't know what to say. That kind of stuff does drive me crazy because I like to think of myself as, I don't know. I'm certainly intense, but relatively easygoing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and rational and reasonable.
With strangers, yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, another good example, just to pat myself on the back and toot my own horn. A couple weeks ago, I mean, we made a joke of it on the podcast when that Hellboy art was offered up through the podcast, and we pretended like you were away in Hawaii, and I just swooped down on it. But of course, it came through. It was technically, well, hey, Ryan was talking about this, but we did talk about it. And I knowing that I had no Hellboy comic art pages, but knowing that you had a bunch, I did say to you, hey, I think these things are great. First, what do you think as a Mignola fan and a Hellboy collector? And also, are these things that you need? Wondering, have you collected on this book? Did you have the other?
Right, could be an issue that maybe these are the last 2 pages. Right, exactly. These could be the missing puzzle. And they weren't, by the way. They were not.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said sort of like, very kindly, you said, these are really great. They're amazing. You should get them. I have other things like it. And, I would be after them if you weren't, but no, I have other things that are equal or better than, but from this kind of key early period in the Hellboy verse. And it was very cool, but I thought that was a nice little, microcosm of how these things tend to go with us.
Look, if you didn't want them, I'd have bought them just because. I mean, which is not necessarily the greatest of reasons. They were just killer early Mignola pages. I would just buy them to buy them because they don't show up, dare I say. I would have just enjoyed owning them. But they certainly, for me, were not like, oh my God, I've been searching for that for, I've been searching for 20 years. So my sort of feeling was, buy them, but if you don't buy them, I certainly don't want it to get away. But yeah, I mean, they were so exactly what you were looking for. I mean, we could sit here and we could argue, oh, maybe I wish there was a monster on it or something of that nature. Yeah. But in terms of 2 sequential Hellboy pages, nice early story pages where Mike's just doing what Mike Mignola does best. Holy crap. They're perfect. Yeah. They're just perfect.
They're great. And they're from an early story that was very evocative, I think, of what made me fall in love with that character. And but it was an easy thing for us to work out because we approached it very, very reasonably. I think in the Julien's auction, it's a prop that we both talked about that I was certainly interested in. I think
the Liquid Schwartz, and you won it for $7,000. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, you just weren't as interested, and you were at the Smithsonian at the time, so I was bidding. But yeah, I mean, that was a thing that in a vacuum, I probably would have been like, oh, that would be pretty cool for me to have. But as soon as I knew that you were all over that, I was like, yeah, cool. And there was other things in that auction that I was into, and it's part of how it sifts out. You can't really go after. We're collectors with means, certainly, but neither one of us are collectors with means enough to just go after everything we want all the time.
I wish I could buy everything I wanted. And I guess, if you want to take a cynical approach, that in a world where we can't get what we want, everything we want, it's easy enough to pretend like we're doing it out of friendship, even if it's really because we couldn't afford it anyway. So, but hey, that works. That works too. That's the
also
cynical
a good
approach.
excuse.
Yeah. But the truth is, I don't know. It's a funny thing. In the prop world, and again, also comic art, but maybe all collecting. How about that as an answer? I don't necessarily, just because we all collect the same thing, doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be friends. I mean, I don't know how else to express that. Right. And it's an issue that a little bit because I think we do this show, and a little bit, obviously, we do like hearing from, fans and people that listen and whatnot. It's funny. I have people that, are constantly sort of engaging me. And there's there's the engagement that's sort of simply like, hey, hey, show's great, whatever, or a question or whatever. And then it does sometimes seem like there are people that just are looking for more. And I don't begrudge the person looking for more. It's just sort of like, I don't have the time for this. I'm not, I said to somebody the other day, I'm just not on Facebook Messenger to respond to you. I don't want to be on Facebook. I would like to get off of Facebook, by the way. And it's nothing personal. You might be a great person. It's just like, this is not where I'm going to look to, find new people to chat with. I don't have the time or the wherewithal. And it's not, and I nothing, the person did nothing wrong. I would respond and then come back like a week later, and there's like 4 responses like, hey, here's another question. Why are you not responding? And it's sort of like, it's just that, I don't know. It's always a very funny, anyway, thing wherever that fits in. But through collecting, I have met great people. So I guess, it works both ways. And sometimes you're at different stages, and sometimes you find the people. I don't know. It's a hard thing, because obviously at the end of the day, there is the competition, and there is competition. I mean, we've lost out on pieces to people that are our friends, and it's, and again, where sometimes you just are like, well, I really did want it, but he can go higher, and that is what it is. And you're not thrilled, but.
Yeah, and there's a couple of instances where I have bid against friends, but with the knowing going in, like, hey, may the best bid win, sort of thing. I want this, you want this. I'm not necessarily, backing down. And it's not a grudge thing. It's just like sometimes that's the best way to sort it out, is just like, whoever wants it the most is going to get it.
Right. There's just no absolute way. I mean, it's funny going back on, I'll bring up a couple of things, and, look, they're both sort of tough, and, I think people were not happy. So I don't know what to say, but I'll bring them up, because why not? Years ago, and I believe I've talked about this before, or at least parts of this before, I did a big trade. I'll leave the specific people out of it, but I did a big trade where I let go of a whole bunch of great props from my collection. And I did a trade to get the lightsaber in my collection, which is it's a resin lightsaber. It's the one that R2 comes, like, sticks up out of R2 that before, and then he fires it, kind of a thing, in Jedi. And it's that saber. But it's not metal. It's not a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a hero prop. It is not one of the whatever. It's, specifically made for what it was made for. And the opportunity I missed out on it. Yes, it's wonderful, and obviously in a world of, in the what is it, the Kingdom of the Blind, the One-Eyed Bunny rules.
Yeah, the resin lightsaber is king.
Yeah, exactly. It was a huge trade, and I did a deal with someone, and there was another party that was interested, that was trying to get the deal done, and I didn't really know any of this was actually going on. It is one of those funny things where I didn't know anything was going on. I just sort of ended up getting a chance to go after it. And the person who I know very well who didn't get it was upset. And I guess at the end of the day, they were perhaps more upset with the seller than myself. It was what it was, but it was weird. I don't know. They were so upset because it was something they wanted. I don't know. It took them a couple minutes to sort of, more than a couple minutes, I think, made their peace with it, both with myself and whatever. And again, on one hand, not angry with me, but on the other hand, I think, I don't know, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, almost hoping that somehow I would undo my deal and step aside. And again, I don't know, there's not much you can do there. I wish the specifics are sort of, hard and vague, because it makes the story, hard to tell, that person and that person. But I don't know, I liked everybody involved, and I felt like I had acted very, again, I didn't know I was hurting a deal. It just was what it was. Just people that liked Star Wars, and I offered a better deal. I don't know. I don't have a great answer, but it got a little ugly among friends, and it took a minute, but at least we felt like it had to be worked out. And eventually it was worked out. And I was glad it was worked out, because again, you're not trying, I don't know, you're not, you certainly don't want to hurt a friend's feelings, and that happened. I don't know how else to put it,
Yeah.
But again, these things do, I don't know, these things like that do happen, where you
they
just
do
kind
come
of go,
up, but I also think it's incumbent upon, you, the collector, to try to, take the higher road. And because there will be times when you're an aggrieved party, or when you find yourself with an aggrieved party on the other side of it, whether it's because of something you did, or because it's a three-way deal, or whatever it is. The people that do well in terms of the long-term reputation in this hobby are the ones that just kind of deal with things like an adult. And you can be mad in the moment and say your piece, but then you also have to move on. And look, if somebody comes and scams you and sells you a fake and says it was real, and then runs with your money, that's an entirely different thing. I'm just talking about,
that is criminal behavior. Yes,
correct.
Yes, that's criminal behavior. No, we're talking about, look, feelings can get hurt.
All's fair in love and war, kind of. Yeah.
But no, feelings can get hurt in the prop world. We are talking about, look, we've gone out of our way on the show, and it's always that funny thing of trying not to obsess on value and what things are worth, and yet at the same time, unfortunately, pointing out that a lot of these big ticket items, especially in the world of like Star Wars and the big genre films, are going for, higher and higher prices. And when you're in that world, I don't know, it's, again, it's sort of like feelings do get hurt. Do you know what I mean? It just, there's no way it doesn't. And there's also, this is going to sound very strange and very odd, but, as all our viewers are aware, and again, we weren't even talking about individuals. When I bid as high as I bid on the X-Wing and didn't win, and again, that's not anybody, there's not any friend betraying me or anything like that. You're putting yourself out there for a large number just feels like you're exposing yourself on some level. And so that sense of, I don't know, I guess rejection, it hurts. You feel like you stood up in class and said, I love you. You know what I mean? And it's, you sort of, there's an exposure part to it that I think, and maybe even a little bit of maybe a pride thing too, where it's one thing, I don't know, if you're using your Ryan 10 code on the Propstore website on a, well, I guess if it was a $20 item, you'd be using your Dave 10 code. But if you were going after a, $200,000 Star Trek The Motion Picture piece and using your Ryan 10 code, and all of a sudden somehow, like while it was in your, like as you were about to hit yes, it updated and said, oh, it's gone because somebody just put it in their basket and got it.
But also use the Ryan 10 code.
Right, exactly. And use the Ryan 10 code, of course. But, that sense of, wow, I was putting myself out there for this big ticket Ryan 10 item, that the putting yourself out there, that exposure is part of what makes you feel bad. And again, that has nothing to do with who the people are. I don't know. That I just think there's a psychological, there's a loss thing there. The pride, again, just to come back to the word pride.
I think there is a big pride thing. I think we, collectors in some way or another do identify themselves through their collection. And sometimes it's not about how much a person has, but a lot of times it's like that particular piece, or the piece that you're known for, or the pieces that you're known for, or the collection, that Star Wars masks and helmets, whatever it is, the thing that you're known for. And I think missing out on something that goes to that definition does define you, and people can take it. It's the reason we do this is because it's emotional. It's supposed to be good emotions.
We have the emotional tie-in to what we're trying to acquire, but because there is that emotion, other emotions are brought up. No,
It's
that's
only
a very
emotion.
good way.
It's not about like buying real estate or like investing in stocks. It's not where it's just purely clinical for, buy and sell to, to make money. There is an asset acquisition thing going on where hopefully you're acquiring something that's going to grow in value and importance, over time. But really that's sort of an ancillary benefit to the main benefit, which is this is something that I deeply love and I'm nostalgic for this period in my childhood or this film in particular. And I really want it. And these things are so rare that often I think it does charge up the emotions a lot in this particular world. I think that there isn't a feeling that Dave and I often have, especially when you're chasing a higher ticket item. This is the only chance I'm ever going to have to get this thing. And while that isn't always true, it often is the case. And sometimes it takes a decade before you have another shot at a thing. So that can muddy the waters and charge things up. But the idea is just, again, coming back to, for us, I think for Dave and I in particular, it's a friends first environment, and the social aspect of this is what really draws us to it, and all the wonderful people that you meet, the strange people that have the same strange interests as you do, and we get along because of that, because we have this kind of shared language between us. And I think to not be a pariah amongst that group because of your attitude and behavior, that's an important thing to me, and I know it is to Dave. And that's sort of the way that we approach collecting. There you go.
Yeah, it's funny. I would say to listeners, I guess, honestly, is whether you know it or not, you have a reputation. Now, this is not where we necessarily started with the show, but whether you know it or not, you have a reputation. And I guess, I don't know, try and think about how you would want someone. I try and think about how I would want someone in the deal, behaving on the other side, and I try and comport myself that way. I don't know how else to express it. You know what I mean? There's just something to be said for if you're a little too fast and loose, I do believe you're not quite getting away with it as the way you think you're getting away with it. I don't know, somehow we got to this, but I am a big believer that, like, the world knows. I don't know. That's somewhere. I don't know how I got to there, but it's. I do think about that. And that's not the reason not to. I guess the reason not to is be a good person and all that kind of stuff. But be aware it all exists. You know what I mean? It doesn't,
golden
it doesn't
rule
disappear. Yeah.
Do unto other collectors as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah. I think it's worthwhile. And what I will say, just to wrap it around, look. As again, I've met a lot of people I really genuinely do like in this hobby, and I have relationships with them on all different levels. And sometimes people start as an acquaintance, and it becomes something so much more. And that is, I don't know, that's very philosophical. That's the fun of life, whatever. I just know I'm not necessarily rushing into it, going, I'm looking for new best friends. I know that, but hey, it happens.
Right.
So yeah, yes. I was not looking for you, Ryan, when you came along. So there you go. Yeah.
But then I darkened your door, and
you wormed your way in, and here we are.
That's right.
So yeah.
I'm just sad we didn't fight over a burn X-Men page to begin our relationship.
No, I know. We don't have really a meet cute. I think our meet cute was just sort of like at some point or another, it was like, oh, you're a writer, I'm a writer. Yeah, it was like, that's our meet cute. Yeah.
I came to your apartment. I don't remember if it's the first time, but it was early on. I brought over my Hero pulse rifle, and you were super into that. I just remember, and that was pretty cool. And you're like,
it was just so fun to see the differences. Obviously having the one I had, which was neat, but obviously the Hero just takes it to a whole other level. What can you say? And by the way, very easy, very I'm trying to think, what's the Hitchcock movie where they kill the guy in the apartment? I can't think of it.
Rope?
Rope. There you go. Easily could have murdered you right then and there, and taken the pulse rifle, buried you in the floorboards and whatnot. But in 4 long shots. But
in a oneer.
Didn't. Yeah, in a oneer, exactly. But didn't.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Dave, as we speak,
I don't know if we can. I was going to say, I don't know if we got anywhere, concluded anything, but anyway,
I think
friendship.
I think it's don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. I'm good with that as a method. Don't be a dick, and just if you're emailing me like through Facebook, just just know I'm not there 24 hours a day. That's all I can say. Just give it some time, relax. Yeah, that's really, those are the main things I just wanted to get out there in the world.
Life is bigger than props, people.
Yeah. Give me. Yeah, I'm a slow replier. It's okay.
Life is bigger than props. It's not much bigger, but it is bigger. And keep your sights on what's actually important. But we should wrap this up, Dave, because as we speak, we're on lot 910 here. And you've got some Biker Scout gloves coming up, so we should play the game.
Very close.
And
play the game.
You should get off.
Wait, but I did really want him to call during. But okay, let's just play the game. We'll go from there. Maybe they'll call during the advertising. Yeah.
Let's see where we go. Very good. So I didn't have a particular game for tonight. Just because
I've got a game that's different. Ready? What? All
right, good.
Have we done this? I mean, tell me we've done this. Is there a game version of, instead of a movie, what piece in my collection you most would want to take from me, and what piece in your collection I would most want to have? Have we done this already?
I don't think we've played that game before, but I think
okay.
I would.
We've talked about it conceptually. Well, is that not a good game?
No, I think it's a good game, and it might have changed too. It changes over time as we acquire things.
It does change over time. I guess that's true.
But okay, well, good. Go. What's it for you?
I'm thinking. I am thinking. I'm kind of going.
Maybe we can do a straight trade.
No, exactly. There's a couple. I mean, I'm gonna narrow down. I mean, I love the Hero Pulse rifle. I love your Aliens armor because I don't have that anymore in my collection. But Pulse rifle over the armor. I love your Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 jacket, but Terminator 1 over Terminator 2 just because it's the first one. And I don't know. There was something about the jacket that's so unique unto itself. Not that there's anything wrong with a leather biker jacket. Do you know what I mean? But the first one, there's a sense of the not low budget nature of the original Terminator, but just of its time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an off the rack like Vietnam surplus jacket that then they turned punk by sewing in the leather patch,
and all the leather patches on, and it's a little bit more bespoke. Yeah, it's a little bit more bespoke in its own way and a little more unique, I guess, than just a biker jacket.
The black jacket is custom, but it was made at like this fancy leather jacket company, so it seems like an off the rack.
Look like just something you could buy, even though it
biker
wasn't.
Shop.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Although I don't even know, did they ever sell them after the fact? Did they? Like, was it popular enough that they ever?
That's a good question. I don't know. I learned a little bit about it through buying the jacket, but I don't know if they were ever made for sale afterwards. That's a good question.
I wonder if anyone knows that.
I should dig into that.
So that already spoke about Statler and Waldorf. Those would be high on the list. But oh my God, Jason DeBoard. How about this?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Hold on.
Just for the podcast. Here we go, guys. This is
live
action.
Hello, Jason. How are you? We are recording as we speak, but they can't hear your end. How you doing? Good. This is very exciting. This is like going to be live in the podcast. Some crazy numbers.
I'm nervous for Dave.
Yeah. This may go higher than I want to be, but let's see what happens, obviously. Okay. He says there's a lot of interest in the 3PO hand. People won't hear this for months, so it won't matter, but a lot of interest in the 3PO hands. So I don't think you're saying anything out of turn. Is the 3PO after that? Or I'm looking at it because I tore the page out of the catalog. Gotcha. Before. Okay. Oh, the Duro suit with the mask on it. Yeah. The post-production head. Yep. I always like that. Yeah.
Oh, are you after the 3PO hand too?
No, before the C-3PO hand. Sorry, Ryan's talking to me too. He says hello.
Hi.
He says hi. This is a very exciting end. We were actually just playing a game, which was what we would most want from each other's collection. And I was sort of landing, and I don't know what I said the last time, but for me, it's going to be Statler or Waldorf. Statler and Waldorf, or maybe it should be Statler or Waldorf, but Statler and Waldorf versus, I think, your Conan sword. I think I unfortunately come back to the Conan sword because it's just a hero. It is so recognizable. I'm going to go Conan sword. Did I say that the last time? I don't even know.
I don't know. I mean, none of those really surprised me, but all good answers. Yeah.
And I almost went Conan movie poster painting. Also, by the way,
that's a good one too.
Which is pretty incredible. And certainly many things, as I said, I will be buying when you're gone. But still, yeah.
When my show
I
kills
plan
me.
on living forever, by the way. I don't know if I told the audience that yet, but at the Ryan Condal estate auction, I'm buying all of that and your Golden Globe. So suck it, man. Yeah.
Dave is the Highlander of collectors.
Jason would like me to point out that Julien is #1 in estates. If you want to sell not only your props, but also some of the furniture in your office,
my toaster,
your microphone, your toaster, I think that's the place to go. Yeah, that is the place to go. All right. How about me? What are you buying? What are you taking from me?
I mean, I think this answer is, we have discussed it before. It's probably somewhat obvious. I'm not moving off of it. It's the Solo Blaster. I just think that's the greatest
Solo Blaster,
thing.
right to it. Okay.
It's
not even the Vader. I thought maybe the Vader. No.
The Vader is great. It's just the Solo Blaster. Yeah. I mean, that's
not even an end run into comic art, not just swoop in and take like some Ditko or something.
And I love your comic art. I just it's the Solo Blaster. But I would say Vader helmet.
I want to know that answer. Yep, keep going.
No,
you go, and then Jason's got an answer too. So keep going. Okay. Right, yeah.
Vader helmet, and then the Indy jacket. I think just because that's the missing piece of of my thing, but definitely the Solo Blaster. That to me, it's like that was when I saw it. It was just the greatest thing I had ever seen. In somebody's private collection. I don't know if I saw that before the lightsaber, Brandon's lightsaber, but like those two, the Blade Runner blaster, like those to me are like on another level of collecting, just beyond anything that people have.
No, Han Solo. No, I'm okay with that. All right, Jason, what do you want from my collection? What do you want from Ryan's collection?
Oh, 3PO hand is up now.
Okay. It'd be the Monster Manual artwork. Oh, that's very specific. And what's the other tie? The monkey from Euro Trip. His picks for me are the original painting for the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual cover,
very good,
which hangs on my wall, or the clapping monkey from Eurotrip. But I think he's kidding, and I think he really means no. He says he's serious. All right, fine, fair enough. Stolen from set. He just likes the emotion behind it. And what about Ryan? What are you buying at his estate sale? He has an indie whip, right? Yes, he does. I'm staring right at it. He's taking your Indie Whip, he says. That's what he's going for from you. He's going for Indie Whip.
Good one.
All right. He does not. So you take the whip. Yeah. You throw him the idol, he'll throw you the whip or something like that.
All right.
All right. Where are we, Jason? We're one lot away. Do we stay on? We stay on. Yes. All right. Let's stay on. All right. So this is we're on the Ewok spears, which were cool. They're at 5K. They're nice. I mean, they're Ewok spears. Yeah. I'm interested in one of them. Does somebody else want the other one? No.
We should have Gus on. You guys could split.
I know. I should have called Gus. That would actually have been really good. Each take one.
They're about to go for 6, Dave. Don't you want to throw in a bid?
If someone buys these for 6K and wants to sell me one for 50%, please, I will take one spear. I only want one. I have an Ewok mask, and I wouldn't mind the spear, but I have no interest in 2. I'm not looking to do an elaborate display. I just want one. So please, yeah. All right, here come the gloves. Here we go. All right, bid, please. Bid 6. All right, from bid 7, please. All right, bid 8, please.
So exciting, guys.
Exciting,
all right.
Yeah.
So Dave's holding the high bid at 7. Oh, you're high bid.
All right, 10, bid, please.
Okay, we're up to We're now into $2,500 increments, everybody.
Much more. Yeah, I'm not going much more. Just warning.
Let's do it. And gavel.
Got the gloves.
Victory.
Well
done.
Thank you, Jason. That was very fun and exciting. Yeah. Probably a while. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, man. That was very fun. All right, bye.
That's some good live podcasting.
That was
Dave.
Pretty cool for something that was completely unplanned and by just as half-assed as possible.
Yeah, well done.
I'm happy to grab those.
Maybe you could display your one Ewok spear,
my one Ewok spear sticking into the glove. Yeah, well, look, if that's not good juju to get the helmet, I don't know what is now. We'll see what happens. But
moving along.
sometimes you gotta take your chance on the pieces for the display. That's the display of the future. We'll see what happens.
I agree.
I was not going to go, just if anyone cares, I think I would have gone, if someone would have bid 12.5, I think I was probably done. I don't know if they let you split bid there, but I might have done a half bid if that was possible. I was not going to bid 15 on that. So that was truly my high for what it's worth. It was a little higher than I wanted, but I was okay.
But it was fair. And I feel like the Biker Scout glove is because you get so much close-up action when he like holds the gun up to Leia's head and you see them working on the bikes, you just get a lot of like Biker Scout glove action in frame.
I always like the look. I mean, it's an Imperial piece in general, and I like the look of it. I don't know. So I thought it was kind of neat. And like I said, it was basically, like I said, that was my limit, so that's okay. I can live in that world.
Well,
so
well done.
There. Yeah, that was kind of
good
fun.
end to the podcast.
Cool. Good end to the podcast. We'll see you soon. I don't know what's next. I don't know what order anything is, but we'll see you soon. Thank you.
We have some good guests coming up though, and and we're just going to keep it rolling. We have a good rhythm. We're a little bit ahead here, so we're just going to keep recording as long as I'm alive and my show hasn't killed me.
I can't wait for the exclusive show coverage of the Ryan Condell estate sale. We're going to just do live for like 3 days of that estate
live
sale.
From the Red Keep, as they just but as always, follow us on social media at Props Podcast.
Cease and desist. But, please follow us. Follow us. I know if you're following us on your podcast thing, pop over to YouTube. Follow us there. Follow us on stupid Facebook. Follow us on all the things if you can. It helps us for what it's worth. It helps us raise the prices on Propstore on their ads. So please follow us if for no other reason. Look, Propstore is constantly charging you money. This is your chance to charge them money. So follow us. It helps. Please. So thank you.
And write us, as always, with your comic art for me and not for Dave at dreamsaremadeofpodcast@gmail.com. And watch us on YouTube. We don't have much visual this week, but you will see Dave intensely bidding on the phone, which was very exciting.
That was kind of fun. That was very live action.
I felt I got the gambler's rush, Dave. I was in it with you. I was very excited. And come back next week. We will be we'll be back on your pod and in your ears and talking nonsense at you. So join us then.